On the 26th of July 2023, a coup d'etat occurred in Niger when the country's presidential guard detained President Mohamed Bazoum, and Presidential Guard Commander General Abdurrahman Chiani proclaimed himself the leader of a new military junta. President Bazoum and his family were detained at the presidential palace in Niamey. Presidential Guard forces closed the country's borders, suspended state institutions, and declared a curfew. So what's the story behind this coup, and what are the potential ramifications, locally and indeed globally, of such an act? Let's take a closer look. Niger has a long history of military coups since it gained its independence from France in 1960, but in recent years it had become less politically unstable. When Mohamed Bazoum came to office in 2021, it was the country's first democratic transfer of power. He served as the 10th president of Niger from 2021 to 2023, assuming office in April 2021 after winning the presidential election and surviving a failed coup d'etat attempt. That was until the soldiers who recently took power insisted they had no choice following the continued deterioration of the security situation, poor economic and social governance in Niger. In fact, relations between Bazoum and Chiani had become strained, and Bazoum had decided on Chiani's dismissal at a cabinet meeting just 2 days before the coup. His detention has been widely condemned by the international community and by the West African regional bloc ECOWAS, which is currently considering military intervention in the country. They have demanded the immediate release and reinstatement of Niger's elected president. Bazoum was deposed by Colonel Major Amadou Abdrahmane, who appeared on state television to claim that the president had been removed from power. Flanked by 9 other officers, the Colonel Major said defense and security forces had decided to put an end to the regime that was responsible for the deteriorating security situation and bad governance in Niger. The military has always played a significant role in Niger's politics, and there is a long history of coups in the country, so when the coup leaders claim to have acted to restore democracy and to fight corruption, it's likely that they also have personal ambitions. There has been a growing sense of dissatisfaction with the government of President Mohamed Bazoum, who has been accused of corruption and mismanagement. This dissatisfaction has been fueled by the perception that the government is not doing enough to address the country's problems, and therefore the deteriorating security situation and bad governance that Abdrahmane was referring to goes back generations. It starts with Niger's colonial past and continues with a rise in Islamist insurgencies which are prevalent in the West African region. Niger has been facing a growing threat from terrorist groups such as Boko Haram and the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, or ISGS. This has led to a significant loss of life and displacement of people and has created a climate of instability in the country. Niger has received support from the United States and France in tackling extremists, but many on the ground feel that it's not enough. So much so that crowds were heard to be expressing optimism for a possible intervention by the Wagner Group, the notorious Russian band of mercenaries. Another contributory factor is that Niger is one of the poorest countries in the world, and the economic situation has worsened in recent years due to factors such as drought and the COVID-19 pandemic. This has led to widespread discontent amongst the population, which has made them more susceptible to calls for radical change. A strategically located country in West Africa, Niger borders 7 countries including Algeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, Benin, Nigeria, Chad and Libya. This makes it a key player in the fight against terrorism in the region. The coup could disrupt Niger's cooperation with its neighbours and make it more difficult to combat terrorist groups. Over 80% of its land area lies in the Sahara. Its predominantly Muslim population of about 25 million lives mostly in clusters in the south and west of the country. The capital, Niamey, is located in Niger's southwest corner. The coup has also raised concerns about the stability of other countries in the region. Mali, Burkina Faso and Chad have all experienced coups in recent years. The Niger coup could embolden military leaders in these countries and make them more likely to seize power. This could lead to a cycle of instability in the region, which would be bad for both regional and global security. The Niger coup also has the potential to disrupt the flow of goods and services in the region. Niger is a major transit hub for trade between West Africa and the rest of the world. The coup could lead to the closure of borders and the disruption of transportation networks. This would have a negative impact on the economies of Niger and its neighbours. France has called for the release and restoration of Niger President Mohamed Bazoum after what it said was a power grab in a country vital to its remaining military interests in the Sahel region. In recent months, France has been forced to redefine the country's strategy to fight Islamist militants in the Sahel after thousands of troops completed a withdrawal from Mali and Burkina Faso. France's strategy has centred on sending troops to Niger, which it has considered its main ally in the region and the best launchpad for operations against militants in the border regions connecting Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso. Some protesters in Niamey recently were seen waving Russian flags and chanting anti-French slogans. In fact, rising anti-French sentiment fueled by Russian propagandists has been circulating African social networks of late. Coups in Mali, Chad and Burkina Faso have weakened France's alliances in its former colonies, emboldened jihadists who control large swathes of desert and scrubland, and opened the door to greater Russian influence. Losing Niger's support would leave Paris with few remaining options, and most likely lead to it being forced to withdraw its forces and diplomats. France has about 1,000 to 1,500 troops based in the country, supported with drones and warplanes. A further 1,000 troops are in neighbouring Chad, where Paris has been less critical of a delayed transition to civilian rule after a 2021 coup. Paris has sought to make its military less visible in an effort to diffuse tensions in West Africa amid the growing wave of resentment towards the former colonial power and its influence in the Sahel. The Niger coup is a reminder of the fragility of democracy in Africa. It's also a reminder of the threat posed by terrorism in the region. The coup has the potential to destabilize the region and threaten global security. It's important for the international community to work together to support democracy in Niger and to combat terrorism in the region. So why is this important? Well, France gets a third of its uranium from Niger, which produces 5% of the world's total supply. Niger hosts French and US troops, plus 2 US drone bases which are focused on Islamist insurgencies in the region, and the deposed president is Western aligned, sometimes at the cost of domestic popularity. It's important enough that French President Macron has warned that France will respond immediately to any attack on French interests after the French embassy was attacked on the 30th of July. As a result, Niger's coup leaders have now suspended the export of uranium and gold to France. This coup leaves Niger exposed and vulnerable and could potentially lead to a humanitarian crisis in the country. Of course, the country is already facing a food shortage due to drought and locust infestations. This coup could further disrupt food production and distribution, leading to widespread hunger and malnutrition. It could also lead to an increase in human rights abuses in Niger. The new military government has already cracked down on dissent, arresting journalists and activists, and if the coup is not reversed, it's likely that human rights abuses will also worsen. The coup in Niger is a serious threat to global stability. It's important for the international community to take action to support democracy in Niger and to combat terrorism in the region. The coup must be reversed and the democratic government of Niger must be restored. Here are some of the reasons why. Regional stability. Niger is situated in a region known for its complex security challenges, including terrorism, cross-border criminal activities, and ethnic tensions. A coup can create a power vacuum, leading to increased instability that may spill over into neighbouring countries, potentially exacerbating existing conflicts. Counter-terrorism efforts. Niger is a key player in the fight against regional terrorism, particularly in combating extremist groups like Boko Haram and affiliates of Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. A coup could disrupt or divert efforts, weakening the ability to address the threats of terrorism and extremism, which has implications for both regional and global security, migration and human trafficking. The Sahel region, where Niger is located, is a major transit route for migration and human trafficking. Instability resulting from a coup could impact migration patterns, potentially increasing the flow of refugees and migrants towards North Africa and Europe. This can strain international relations and lead to humanitarian challenges. Diplomatic relations. The response of neighbouring countries and international actors to the coup can shape diplomatic relations and alliances. Changes in government can lead to shifts in foreign policy priorities, affecting regional cooperation and international partnerships. Economic implications. Niger is rich in resources, including uranium, which has strategic importance. Political instability can disrupt resource extraction and trade, affecting the economy of not only Niger, but also neighbouring countries and international markets. Democracy and governance. Coup events can have a ripple effect on the perception of democratic governance in the region. The success or failure of a coup can influence the behaviour of other political actors and potentially undermine democratic institutions and norms. Influence of external powers. Geopolitically, external powers may seek to exploit the uncertainty following a coup to increase their influence in the region. Competing interests and interventions by global players can further complicate the situation and impact regional dynamics. Indeed, the coup could embolden other coup plotters around the world. The success of the Niger coup could send a message to other military leaders that it is possible to overthrow democratically elected governments. This could lead to a wave of coups in other countries, which would be destabilizing for the global order. Humanitarian crisis. Political upheaval can lead to internal displacement, disruption of essential services, and exacerbation of existing humanitarian challenges, particularly in conflict-affected areas. In summary, the Niger coup's geopolitical significance stems from its potential to disrupt regional stability, impact counter-terrorism efforts, alter migration patterns, influence diplomatic relations, affect economies, and raise questions about democracy and governance. The fallout from a coup can extend beyond national borders, shaping the broader geopolitical landscape in West Africa and beyond. This is a complex and ever-changing situation, and so it remains to be seen what the long-term consequences of it will be. Thank you for joining us at the Global Insight and watching this video. If you liked it, please let us know by liking and sharing it with your community. For more great videos, follow our channel, The Global Insight. Just click subscribe. Thanks again, and until next time, stay tuned.